So hello and welcome to Dommy Tries This. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is a dragon drinking a large cup of coffee, and it says, "Time for coffee." However, we all know I am not a coffee drinker. I am a tea drinker. However, there are some teas that give that coffee wake-up feeling, and today's tea is one of those. It's actually a mix of my Stash white chocolate mocha and my spiced dragon red chai. I love these two. They give kind of almost a Mexican hot chocolate kind of feeling. So let's get a taste and let's get started. The white chocolate mocha is so nice and deep. And then that red chai, the Spice Dragon gives it kind of that spicy feeling to it. It's really good. I think it could use a little bit more spice. It has been sitting here for a little bit while I got prepared. And yeah, so we are pretty much ready to go. But before we get started on this week's Whole and Healthy Wednesday, let's talk about our old and new. I've only got 2 of them up. Although some of my face products will end up being old and new, obviously. But brand new, and I mean brand new, as in I just opened it on Facebook yesterday, is my GLF Ayiti Princess Ayiti palette. This is gorgeous. I told them on Facebook I made a mistake when I bought this, and I kind of did. I was supposed to use a different code, and I could have saved a little bit more money with that other code. But honestly, the code that I got that gave me 10% off, it's still worth it. It's a beautiful palette. I'll link it down below so you can find it if you're interested in it. This is a company, GLF is a company that is run by people of color, which is something I'm looking for in my brands, actually. And it is an indie brand, so trying to support more indie brands right now. And I do believe, yes, it's cruelty-free and paraben-free. So that's cool. For my old, I pulled out my Violet Voss and Nicole Concilio Pro palette. This is one of my neutral palettes that I've kept because it's Violet Voss, so the quality is fairly decent. It's actually not up to the usual Violet Voss quality, but it is still very good. I don't use it much because it is such a neutral palette, but I think it'll work in with today's really big bright colors from here. We are going to start with this lighter color in the Concilio palette. It's called Zozo. We're going to put that under our brow and go from there. Thinking about going green and blue today. Maybe. Such pretty colors. Too many colors to choose. Anyway. So today is an update day, and I have to say, it's been a rough week. It's been a very, very rough week. Very rough week. And I only say that not because the week was necessarily bad. There were some things that happened that were not good, but we also had some good things happen. And I think the biggest problem for me this week was just being completely thrown off balance. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I have to work on, one of the things I have to work on is when we get off schedule, when things get off routine, is being able to get back on routine. And this week kind of threw me a fast one, so to speak. We had our good day. We went out and we saw Captain Marvel. One of our theaters has a $5 Tuesday, so we went out and saw Captain Marvel. I am now going to take some of that yellow from the new palette called Confident. I'm going to put that over that pale goldy color. Whoa, that's a lot of pigment. Okay. I'm going to start close to the crease and move up so that I'm not overwhelming the whole thing with yellow, just in case. And I'm glad I did that. Wow. Holy cow. I have had a hard time finding yellows. I'm going to tell you guys that. And that is amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Didn't even require much. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's gorgeous. Anyway, so we went to see Captain Marvel on Tuesday. Now, my family, we don't go out much. We can't afford it. So those $5 Tuesdays are about the only time we can afford to see movies and things. And even then, we don't do it much. We are planning to go, I think, and see the next Infinity War one and in the theater. But in general, we don't go out to movies much. It's too expensive. So there was that. And then Wednesday, I had my new doctor's appointment with my new practitioner. That went well, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But between the two of those, and could have sworn something else happened this last week, but seriously, between those two, I was completely off routine, and I just never got it back. And it just, the whole week just kind of went from there. I have a video I have to refilm. You will note that my 1 month palette video is late. I have to refilm it for the third time. I'm going to be doing that on Friday and hopefully posting it the following Monday. Hopefully. Yeah, we've just had a lot of things happen. So it was a rough week, and I didn't exercise this last week at all. Just too much, too busy. I shouldn't say not at all. I did do my dishes and dancing in the evening. There was one night I skipped it. I wasn't feeling very well, but there was one night I skipped it. But for the most part, I didn't do any lifting. And then I think in the middle of last week, we had a bump that also threw me off on my exercise. This is something I need to work on myself, is to just basically to get right back on track when things throw me off. Sometimes I can do it when it's only one day. If I only have one day that throws me off, I can get back on track right away. But apparently when I have more than one day or more than one thing happen, yeah, for some reason the whole week ended up being a mess. And I think also over this weekend, I just wasn't feeling very well either. So, and there's reasons for that I'll get into in a minute. But so this whole last week and a half just was a mess for me, especially in terms of exercise. And it got cold again, so my eating went up. And so that's going to explain some of the, or probably most of the report that I have for, how I'm doing in terms of my goals and things. Considering how pigmented that was, I'm a little worried about playing around with some of these colors now. Oh my. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this color Proud, put it across the lid, and then put this color Love on the outer part of my outer corner. So, anyway, so, oh God, look at this. Oh my Lord. Oh, I'm already so happy with this. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. God, it's not needing much. It's just going, oh, wow. Oh, babies. Okay, I need me more of this company stuff. This is amazing. A lot of fallout, but holy cow. Okay. Anyway, getting on to our update. So the bad news is everything went up. All my inches, my weight, everything went up. And I honestly don't think I don't think much of that has to do with muscle or anything like that, to be honest with you. I'm not doing good for the first 3 months, I guess, of the year. I don't know. I had a rough starting 2 months, and then the end of the end of March didn't work out so well. So I guess, I don't know. I don't know how long it takes to build muscle. I don't know how long it takes for any muscle that you build up to actually start leaning out the fat. I don't know any of that. So I can't say for sure that it's not muscle that's caused some of this problems. I just can't believe these colors. They're amazing. Okay, so I'm now getting into that color Love. I'm almost afraid to do this. Okay. It didn't overwhelm it. It's making it darker without overwhelming it. This is going to be fun to get this fallout off, though. But anyway, I can say something is going on because I've almost nearly completely dropped my 6s. The only places I'm using them is a particular lifting on my back. It's called an extension. I have my stomach on the ball, my feet on the floor, but my stomach on my stability ball, and then I hold my weights and I lift up this way. So because it's my back, I have to be careful with how much weight I'm putting into it so that I don't cause whatever it is that's causing my pain in the first place to get worse. I want it to get stronger. I don't want it to get worse. So, yeah, we're just, I'm keeping the 6s for that reason, and for the other 2 exercises that I do specifically. Oh, Lord. I'm looking in my finder here and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of color, guys. Anyway, we are going to have to do some blending, and the fallout is clinging on. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing I'm going to have my concealer, because holy cow, that's a lot. All right, so I'm going to take that blue that's called Strong, that's up here. I'm going to use that in my crease and do my... This is a bright ladies look, whether I mean it to be or not, it is. But I'm going to do it in my crease and do my wing. And then I'm going to take this darker blue out of the concealer palette called Pingy, right here, and use that to actually deepen the crease. I don't know what I'm putting under my eye yet. This stuff is scary, but we'll see. Wow. Anyway, was not expecting this kind of pigmentation. Can you tell? So I am really working on, now this one was a little drier when I swatched it in my FB group. And it does seem to be, it might be because I'm putting it over other colors, but it does seem to be a little easier on the pigmentation. Not much, mind you. Wow. And it's blending into that yellow and creating a green. That's, oh God, this is beautiful. Ah. Okay, you got to get this palette. It didn't cost me much. You all know I can't spend a lot of money right now. So this did not cost me much, even with just 10%. Oh God, this is just stunning. This is stunning. I am super impressed. Anyway, getting back to it. Didn't expect to be quite so impressed. I am using mostly 8s. Well, I shouldn't say mostly. The first 2/3 of my workout now is with the 8s on most days. And then I go down to the 7s, and I use 4s for two of the exercises to, like I said, make sure that I'm not damaging my back any further. I have taken my ankle weights up to 6 pounds. I seriously thought about taking them to 6.5, and I might do that in the middle of this month. But I wanted to, I was struggling still with a couple of the exercises that I do, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't pushing myself too hard on that. It's really easy to tell, for me to tell when it's time to take my dumbbells up. It is much harder for me to tell when to take my ankle weights up. And I'm not sure why that is, and I think I've mentioned that before, and that somebody had told me to just go for it. And so I did. Jeez Louise. So my weights are up from when I started the month out. So obviously something is going on. Just not sure what. I'm obviously getting stronger, which to me would imply, that I am definitely getting stronger. So the muscle, something is going on with the muscle. I'm just not seeing it yet, I guess. Jesus. My husband's going to come home and go look at me and be like, holy cow, girl. Okay, so I'm blending a little bit here. Wow. I'm going to have to add some more yellow up top, I think, or some more of that paler color. Wow, baby. That's... wow. Not what I expected. Really not what I expected. I am putting more color up here. Partly to correct where the green went up a little bit, although it's still going to be up there some. And I'm using the lighter color to help lighten it out. So, like I said, I've got my weight is up. All my measurements were up today. I'm trying not to let that freak me out too much. I'm not so worried about the weight as I was upset about the measurements. I actually had been hoping that since I was bringing my weights actually, what I was lifting actually up, I was kind of hoping that maybe something was working a little bit there. But, you know, like I said, it probably takes a little longer to do those things, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for it to actually show in the physical appearance. Let's just go with that. Okay, I'm taking that pingy, and I'm deepening my actual crease a little bit. However, there is other news. That is good news. And that is, I did go see the doctor this week. I told you all about the disaster that the previous doctor was. This other appointment went really, really well. This new doctor listened to me. She's actually not a doctor. She's a certified... I can't remember. I had to look up the letters because I didn't know what it was. She's not... I guess she's... I'm not sure if she's quite a physician's assistant, if she's a step below that or what. She's a type of nurse. But let me tell you something. I don't care if they're a nurse or a doctor. If they're going to listen to me, I'm happy. And she is qualified to give out medications and do diagnosis and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that she's just below a PA, a physician's assistant. I'm going to take that blue from the IET palette and put that under the eye, I think. Just, this is such an astonishing palette, I'm going to tell you guys. Anyway, so we talked a bit, and what I said was, I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page. I said, because my experience previously, I just didn't feel listened to. So we discussed, and she seemed to understand where I was coming from in terms of not wanting to fight to lose weight. The nice thing is even if she didn't agree with what I was saying, at least she was being agreeable and doing it in a way that felt genuine. She wasn't just it didn't seem like she was just humoring me. Jesus Christ. I have to go out and pick up some medication today. I'm going to be looking like this. Wow. I'm going to take a fluffy brush. I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to put a little bit of this gold right in the center of my lid. It's a little darker, but it's not orange. And the other gold over in the concealer palette is on the oranger side. I just want a little bit in the middle of my lid just to help brighten up that section just a little bit. I'm going to have to put on my green sweater to make this make sense when I go out to pick up my meds, because wow. Anyway, I think that did what I needed it to do. Palette. New palette is amazing. This is just, holy cow. Yeah. I was not expecting this. This is a get only if you're into bright palettes. I am going to have to tag Lacey from Spooky Lips and Fat Hips, because this is a palette that she would love to go for. It's astonishing. This is astonishing. So, Lacey, you need to take a look at this palette, because wow. 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 I'm really, wow. Anyway, moving right along. So we discussed what had happened in my previous appointment, and she was actually like I said, she seemed very genuine. She was with me. She understood. I told her that my biggest thing with the previous doctor was that she didn't ask any questions. She just looked at me and said, "Oh, well, just because you've been trying to lose weight and the menopause seems to stall, it doesn't mean you should stop trying to lose weight." And, you know, she seemed to understand that what I was telling her overall, which was basically I had tried for 3 years, and I did tell her that I'd been trying for 3 years, and it just hadn't been working, and I wasn't going to drive myself crazy with it anymore. And she understood all that. The interesting part to me, I'm going to start cleaning up here. So I had told her, I said, yeah, I'm lifting 3 times a week. And I said, and I lift 40 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. And she looked really surprised. And then I said, and the other doctor said that wasn't enough and I needed cardio. And she looked even more surprised. And I told her about the dishes and dancing. And I told her that the other doctor didn't even ask about, you know, how long I do it. And I said, it's 20 to 60 minutes, sometimes more. She didn't ask about where my heart rate is. My heart rate averages between 90 and 110 when I do that. And I said, and she didn't ask how many calories I burn, which is the minimum is 150, and it usually goes up to 350. So it's not like I'm being lazy when I'm doing my dishes and dancing. So she seemed real surprised that those questions weren't asked. She seemed real surprised that the previous doctor even suggested that I needed to do more. There is a lot of glitter fallout, guys. A lot. Ugh. Really hoping that the foundation covers that. It should. It's not quite full, but it's full enough, so to speak. Anyway, so we discussed, she looked everything over. Like I said, she seemed to be really on board with me not stressing the weight loss. I did tell her that I'd been researching it for a while, and I really felt that maybe the other doctor wasn't up on the research. I said, I'm not bedridden. As long as we keep my blood pressure under control, as far as I'm concerned, I'm fine. And she seemed to agree with that. She did say my blood pressure was on the borderline. We're going to get into something about that in a minute. And that I should still find a way, if I don't have a way to do it at home, that I should still find a way to keep tracking it and let them know if it goes up, because it is kind of on the borderline right now. So that was really, I came out of that appointment feeling validated and listened to, and I'm really glad that I said something. And I initially wasn't going to say anything about the previous, I didn't actually want to throw the other doctor under the bus. But in a way, you can't help it when you're talking about this appointment didn't go well and this is why. You have to tell them, this doctor didn't listen. She didn't ask the right questions. I felt dismissed. You've got to tell them those things. I've said in previous things, you've got to advocate for your own health. And I'm really glad that I did. The other thing she did is she got the office manager involved, which was something I was I want to say I was really surprised about and a little uncomfortable with, because, that other doctor didn't work for me, but for all I know, she works really well with other people. They don't mind her manner. They don't mind her being so brusque and abrupt and just telling them what they need to do. Some people don't know enough about their own health that they need a doctor like that. I know enough about my health. I've been at this long enough. I went at the weight loss thing long enough that I know what I need. So she got the office manager involved, and the office manager and I talked about the appointment. And I was initially thrown back and thrown off by it. I was like, and she just said, look, we want to make sure that all of our patients have the best care possible. And the only way we can do that is to make sure that we know what's going on, especially if there's been a bad experience. We want you to come here and get the best health care you can get, and to be comfortable with that health care and to be happy with the results. And we can't do that if we don't know what our practitioners are doing that isn't working. And I thought that was this office has impressed me in a number of ways. I have to get a diagnostic mammogram, and I knew that one was coming because, unfortunately, a few years back, years and years ago, I had an abnormal mammogram come up. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I've had several mammograms since. Nobody's told me anything is seriously wrong. I personally suspect that what they've found is a cyst. I went through a period of time where I was getting a lot of cysts, and so I think what it is a cyst. And since then, I've gotten more cysts. As for these guys have their own scanner, and they have their own tech that can come in and do, I got my earring, who can come in and do a prelim. And like I said, they found the same problem. Well, they normally only do their deeper diagnostic scans on Mondays. Well, I told them we're going to have to work that out, because that's a day my husband works, and a day my husband doesn't work really hurts our pocketbook really badly. And so we're going to have to work something out, and it might not be a little bit before I can get in to see them. And they worked it around so that I can go in on a Wednesday. And then told me, shh. So I'm not telling you which place I went to because shh. But they worked around it. So this particular office is doing everything it can to meet the needs of its patients. So that brings me to the other concern. I've been back on my blood pressure meds for a while now. So, and I've started to get a new, I shouldn't say new, I've started to have something show up that can happen when you have blood pressure medication. And that is, I've started to have some an edema. And that means my ankles are kind of swelling, my ankles and feet. They're usually fine in the morning. And the biggest problem is late at night. You know, at the end of a long day, especially if I'm sitting and not doing a lot of movement, if I'm, you know, filming, like today. Today they will be sore by the end of the evening and they will be puffy. And I haven't had this, I actually had it show up once over 30 years ago, and haven't had it show up until I started actually managing to take my blood pressure medication fairly regularly, and now it's showing up. So I got an over-the-counter type diuretic, which is a water pill. It basically removes excess water from your system. And so I got the diuretic, and that seemed to help. So I called them today and I said, this is going on, and I'm hoping you guys can do this for me without me having to come back in, because I do have one limitation on my insurance that is really utterly annoying, and that is I can only have 4 appointments. And I said, and I've already used 2 of them. So if we can get me a diuretic without me having to come back in, I would appreciate it. Well, they called, and they had called in my prescription for a diuretic. So I'm picking up a diuretic tonight. So far, other than the one doctor, so far this place has been really, really amazing to me. I've had a few doctors in the past that have been really, really cool. This whole place seems to be really, really cool. Yes, we still have women of color. We still have heavier people having issues at the doctors. But it looks like those attitudes are starting to change, and that's really cool. And I hope all of you can find doctors that are like this, that are willing to work around and with you on your health rather than dictating it. So anyway, so it's been a mixed thing. I had a week and a half where things were going poorly, but I have increased my the amount of weights I'm lifting, and my doctor appointment went really well. I am on my blood pressure meds. They have brought things down. I suspect the water pill, when I finally take it, will help take things down further. And so yeah, things are going really, really well, and I'm really, really pleased. And now I'm going to go and finish my face, and we will be back to finish this all up. So here is our final look. In old and new, for new, I use the Cover FX face palette. I really do like this. I do have to be very careful with it. It's very pigmented. So some of the darker colors can come off really dark. For old, I use my favorite ColourPop highlighter. This is an Angel Food. I love this highlighter. Yeah, it's got a kind of a pinky cast. Then also for old, I use my Tattoo Junkies. For kind of new, I use the Rimmel Stay Matte that I won. And then for really new, I use the Burt's Bees. So there's that. And yeah, so there's all of that. Kind of like the look. I mean, even though it's wow. It is a whole lot of wow going on. It is definitely very dark. I will say that the Hydra does not stand up to my eyes too well. This is no surprise. Most lower end don't. And actually a lot of the upper end don't. I need to do my bangs again real soon. They're going to drive me crazy. Real soon. Real soon. Anyway, most drugstore price products and a lot of the high-end stuff actually don't. However, the Hydra does repair fairly well. It just doesn't stay repaired, unlike some others. So I like it. It has its issues for me, but that said, it's worth the pigmentation and everything. So really good palette, really impressed. I've been finding a lot of indie brands that I'm really impressed with. It's very, very seldom that I find one that I'm not. But anyway, to get through to our final thoughts on everything we've talked about, the big thing for the discussion is that after hearing it, after listening to the good and the bad of the month, overall I think it was a really good month for me. Yes, I did gain in inches and I did gain weight. The weight could partially be muscle because of increasing the amount of weight I was lifting. Granted, I didn't increase it by that much and it was only for half the month, but I did increase the amount of weights I'm lifting, both in my dumbbells and on my ankle weights. And I had a really good doctor appointment, so we're on track. And then they also worked with me on getting the diuretic that I need to work with my blood pressure medication. So overall, a good month, even though the last week was just a struggle to even think about staying on track or whatever. That's just something I have to work on personally. I think also the cold, it could have been a lot worse considering how cold it got, and that cold tends to seem to make me eat, and there was some stress involved with some of these things as well, and that tends to make me eat. I think I did pretty good with just, it was basically about a 3-pound gain, give or take, 2.6 or something like that. It wasn't very big, and for a week, it really wasn't very big, because honestly, your weight can fluctuate during the day between 3 to 5 pounds or more, depending on the time of day, what you've eaten, water weight gain, all those things. I do my weigh-in when I do it in the morning, somewhere between 10:30 and noon, somewhere in there. And just, a half hour can actually make a difference. So anyway, not making that many excuses, just a little bit. But I have been expecting weight gain anyway. I just was more disappointed that the inches went up instead of going down. This is something that I've mentioned before, that they seem to kind of go back and forth, and I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if it couldn't have been from water mass or whatever, because like I said, I haven't worked out this weekend. So I don't have the tears and things that will retain the water after you work out, especially when you're doing things like lifting weights. But, I don't know what part of that is. And for all I know, at the end of next month, that 3 pounds will be gone again, and everything will be back on track to where it was. I only do this once a month for a reason. I don't want to stress myself out over it. And if I'm watching these changes on a weekly or even daily basis, it will drive me bonkers. I will be so frustrated with it. And so that's why I just do it once a month, because I know that there were probably a lot of fluctuations during the month. There were things that happened during the month that could make it come and go, and that next month could be better. And I'm not looking at something so close that I don't have time to make it better, all of those things. So overall, really good. And I'm in a good place in terms of the direction I'm going. I will be picking up my diuretic tonight, and that should help with some of the issues I've also had this weekend. And yeah, so that's it. That's pretty much it. Overall, I think it was, it could have been a better month, but by the same token, it could have been a lot worse, all things considered. Anyway, that's it for today, and I hope you like what you've seen. We do Whole and Healthy Wednesday every Wednesday, at least for hopefully a little while longer. I'm beginning to feel like I'm running out of material, but we'll keep trying. Honestly. But in general, we do more beauty-related stuff, although I think how healthy you are relates to your beauty. As you take care of your body, it can take care of you. I hope you like what you've seen and that you will come back again. And if you're not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. If you do subscribe, do hit the notification bell. I swear I can talk. It has just suddenly become a day. So, yes, we are fumbling around once again. I upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, but we do have bonus videos going up. They aren't out today, but they will be out soon. It's been warming up. It's just not warm today. Plus, we have some other bonus videos coming up as well. So you'll want to have that bell ready to go so you know when those come up. If you're part of my notification squad, I know you've forgiven me for flubbing this all up and being a bumble girl here, because for some reason, I just can't seem to talk. But I also hope that you will check your subscription and your bell to make sure that they are both still active. Well, if you don't subscribe, we would be disappointed. But after today, I would so totally understand. After the last few minutes, I would get it. Still, we hope that you will come back again. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. This has sat for at least an hour. Things going on. So it is very, very cool. And I do not know if I've had this cold. I think I've had it cooled off, but I don't think I've had it cold. So this will be interesting to see how this tastes cold. That's not bad. Honestly, it is like almost like a chocolate milk or a hot chocolate with just a kick of spice. That is very, very good. I'm going to have that one cold more often. That's really good. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. Bye.